Okay, good morning. This is Diane Welch and Caroline Hightower here at the library, and we're coming to you for our author interview and talk with Lomie Cooke, and Stuart and Marty's going to join us too. And we're so excited about this, and it's just an honor and a privilege to have Lomie here with us this morning virtually. I have to do everything remotely now, but it's just Lomie has always been one of our favorite people. When she and John were here in Wadesboro, they were such advocates for the library and just always such strong supporters for us, and even inviting the library staff into their home for Christmas dinner, and just wonderful people. And she is Lomie is just an amazing person. And they're going to talk about this morning, talk about their book, Ocean Isle Beach, the early years, and it's North Carolina family's journey and unapologetic history of Ocean Isle Beach. So we're excited to hear about that. And so we're going to introduce Lomie. Who's going to start first, I think. So,
well, I always start off telling how old I am. And I can't believe that I'm going to be 95 in 1 week. So next week on Sunday, you all sing to yourself at home, happy birthday, Lomie. Okay. I had hoped that I would be at the library with you all today, but that didn't happen. But I'm there with you anyway. I'm going to read a little bit so I don't forget anything. When you're 95, you know, that's the way it goes. Anyway, here we are on Zoom, and I think it's a miracle. I wanted to tell you, I start when I was married to John Cooke when I was 21 years old. And, you know, at that time you left home. You didn't stay home with mother or anything. You were left. And so that was sort of a shock to me that here I'm going to have to go down to Cooke Chevrolet and work in the place and do all that. I thought, I didn't used to do that stuff. But anyway, I graduated from Salem College and taught school. I was supposed to teach public school music because it was simple and easy. I didn't have to do anything much, just teach instead of playing the piano a whole lot and everything else. So I sort of cheated, and I thought I'd do that. So I got to Wadesboro, and they didn't have public school music. Oh Lordy, what was I going to do? There were 15 children who could not go to school because their birthday was after, I think, October. So those children were not allowed to go. And one of them was Meredith Allen's daughter. So they said, would you like to teach school to them, these 15 people? And I said, yeah, of course. How do I know how to teach? I don't know a thing about teaching. So Dorothy Bond had been a school teacher. She had all her stuff. So she handed it all to me. So at night, I'd stay up all night thinking, what am I going to teach them tomorrow, to do all that? But we got through it, and I taught for 2 years down in the basement of the Episcopal Church to about 15 children. And some of you might be looking at it today, or your children might be today, some of those people I taught. But anyway, let's see, now wait a minute. After that, see, Dorothy was in the 2nd grade, and I'm teaching 1st grade to 2nd graders, so I did pretty good. Anyway, everybody learned a lot. And they still talk to me about it. Well, wait a minute, now I've got to see. I really had to study hard later, because then I started teaching music. They started public school music. And I went to every single school in the county. Every day I'd go to about 5 schools. I went to Wade Mill, I went to this, then that day, and we're doing, and people loved it because they didn't have to do anything, just sing, nothing like that. And I remember one time we had the Burns twins. Y'all remember the Burns twins? Well, they're sitting up there, and one of them stands up and dances on top of the thing and refuses to do anything. And I don't know what to do. So I called the principal, and he comes up here and picks up one of the Burns twins, and by one leg holds him out the window on the 3rd floor and said, I'm going to drop you if you don't improve. And that went around the whole county. I never had any more trouble with any children. I was afraid that he was going to drop him out of there. But then I, I was teaching again. I had to teach, and I didn't know what to teach because I had never had any, and I just knew music. And so I chose health, English, and history because they were the quick ones. They're the easiest to do, and you didn't have to study much. You could just, do all that. But I had a wonderful time. But then I had these two boys in the school. We had 36 people in each church, in each thing. These days I think you have about 15 or what they got. But we had 36 or 40 people in there. And one of them was the McKinnon boy and the Partisan boy. They were smarter than I was. So I said, wouldn't you all like to teach the spelling? Oh, they thought that was wonderful. So every Monday morning, those two boys would get up there and start calling out the spelling thing, and then they correct the papers. And it just, by Friday, they gave them the test, and it was just wonderful. All I had to do was sit up there and figure out what I was going to teach them the next hour while they were doing that. So about February, they came to me and said they were tired of doing it. And I told them, too bad, you got to do it all this year. So that whole year they did that, and that was so much fun. It was wonderful for me. Anyway, I fainted in school one day, and I didn't know what. So I went to, every now and then I'd be fainting. We'd be riding from Wadesboro to somewhere, and I'd say, I'm going to faint. So they'd run me to the hospital and give me a shot, and then I'd be all right. So all these years I'm fainting. And somebody found out that I needed sugar. And you might need it too. Whoever's listening to me, this might be something that would help you. Every day in the morning, I get up and take a little bit of half a teaspoon of sugar. And then all day long, I eat cookies or things like that every 2 hours, and I never faint again. So if you're fainting, that might be what's wrong with you. Well, we started making clothes, and we were making cloth and things like that came from the mill down there. And we were selling cloth and everything. So we decided to make women's clothes. And so we had them manufactured in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and Greensboro. And here's what they look like. Can you see that? This is
a little bit further.
Lomie Lou Originals. And Lomie Lou,
That's good.
Lomie Lou Originals. And we had them in the back of, we sold the things and did that. And they were selling. I went to New York to buy the clothes, buy things. I went up there by myself, and I'm up there, and the ladies, they don't care about anything. I never saw anybody's. Anyway, but I would pick out, and she'd say, now listen, the lady, that ain't the one you're supposed to pick out this one. So the people in New York, because I'm so Southern and don't know anything, they would tell me what to bring. And I'd bring it down and be selling the same thing in Belk's and BC Moore's that I'm selling over there. So I'm selling them for $5, and they're selling them for $25. They would not buy mine because they thought there's something wrong with them. And the ones in Belk's is much better because it costs more. And I thought, y'all are idiots. But anyway, that's what our house burned one time, and we were living down there, and it burned, and mother had died a few months before, and her house was still there on West Wade Street. So I went down we moved down there. The family said, it's all right. We go in there, and we lived in there while they were repairing our house. And I went down to see Margaret Allen. Y'all remember Margaret Allen? Everybody knew Margaret Allen. And she's down there making bread. And she's on television. I can't think of the name of the woman on television. Betty Feaser was making it. And she's copying Betty Feaser how to do it. So I learned how to make that bread. And since then, I have made hundreds of thousands of bread. You wouldn't believe it. For something for the church, I make 250 loaves of bread, and they sell it. And then I make 200 here and 200 there. And people come knock at the door, and they say, have you got any bread? And I go give them the bread. I'm still making the bread. And I would say that I've made 1 million loaves of bread. And I have never been paid for a single loaf. I have never accepted any money from that. I don't know why I'm saying that, but that's the truth. Anyway, let me see now. Oh, by the way, I've been carrying that starter around everywhere. If I go somewhere for the week, I got to take the blooming starter along because it has to go in the refrigerator and it can't last. And so if any of y'all ever done that, now you just think about this. If you want to know about the red, get in touch with me. Come down here to Ocean Isle, or I can tell you on the thing how to make the bread. You will be the best person in Edson County. I've been on the committees of churches, which I'm very proud of, and one of them was the one in Wadesboro, that Methodist church in Wadesboro that's so beautiful now. And I'm proud of Wadesboro because I can see that people are coming from somewhere else to live in this lovely little town. And I believe within 10 years, Wadesboro will have been grown up to a big, wonderful place coming from Monroe and Charlotte, because the road is getting easy to come and you can go to work there. I wanted to go by train, but they won't do it. What's happening here now?
We've lost something here. We got scheduling or something.
Maybe I did.
Can you guys still see us?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll see
Yes.
you.
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. Something. Oh, my goodness. I don't know if you hit something or not.
Maybe I did. Oh, okay.
Well, we can still
But
see you.
yeah, we can
hear you.
see you. You look good.
Can
You're
you
still
see me?
looking good, Lomie Lou.
Okay, well,
Keep on
I
talking.
just wanted to say that I feel encouraged about Wadesboro and all of these lovely homes that are there. There will be people coming, and we mustn't. I don't want to give up. And Fetzer Mills and Penny Mills had to move to Charlotte. They didn't move there because they hate Wadesboro. They moved because her twin sister lives there, and they can all be together because Fetzer's 90, I believe, and he's getting older, and they can retire there. But she comes back to Wadesboro for a lot of things that are going on, and I just feel like that it's good. But Fetzer just keeps saying something back. This is my old sister, but I'm not. I am not. But I want to show you one other thing. I'm gonna get it. When I was in the shows in Charlotte, I would be in the shows and people would walk by us like we had a virus. They wouldn't pay any attention to us because we were not selling things they wanted, anything. So I decided something, and I went down to this place that they sold costumes. And I said, I need a costume. And they said, here's one, said this, the 30 of these, they all rent them. And then we wash them and said they've been washed and they're clean and nice. So here it is. Here's my outfit. So I would put it on. Well, let me see if I can see the top of it. Anyway, I put the thing on and stand out there, and people just steamed around me, just like I was something amazing. And I rented more houses. You'd be surprised how many houses I could rent in that costume. I walked up and down the beaches. I wore everything. So one time I lost the thing. I couldn't find it. And I thought my life is ending. I have lost my red bathing suit. This lady, I went to eat lunch with her. She's from Greenville, South Carolina, and she had a package for me. She said, I have a special package for me. I opened it, and there it was, my red bathing suit. 10 years ago, she borrowed it to wear to a church event and forgot to return it to me. And I finally got back and so if you come down here and come to see me, I'll put that thing on and we'll do it for all of us together. Now,
That'll be worth a trip, Lomie Lou.
all right, well, anyway, I'm going to introduce you now to my son, Stuart, who knows more than I do. So anyway, Stuart, it's your go.
Well, I don't know. Thank you, Mother. And first, let me thank y'all for honoring us to have us here today and talk about our book, the book that Lomie and I, Marty, my father, we all have learned the lesson of a short pencil is better than a long memory. And so believing that we've always made notes on through the years of funny stories or interesting things that bared repeating, we thought. And over time, as we would tell these stories, people would say, yeah, you ought to write that down. That ought to be in a book. And so Mother and I, in earnest, 3 years ago, started to collect the stories and try to put it into a format to where people would understand and read and want to read them, and where it would flow. And then we were blessed to have an experienced editor that was able to matriculate these stories into a cohesive understanding. The book is centered around our history of Wadesboro. And we had 1 foot in Wadesboro, and we had 1 foot in Ocean Isle Beach. And this book takes us back in Wadesboro through Lomie's experiences back that predates the Second World War, and talks about her time in Lysville with the peach orchard, Lomie Lou Peach Orchard there, that her father started, and then the hotel in the middle of the town square in Wadesboro that they ran, and the funny stories that were told through the years through our family about those experiences. And then coming to Ocean Isle Beach, which is 124 miles from Wadesboro, we built a home there in '63 and kept a horse underneath it for many years. And just it was basically one large windswept sand dune area that didn't have anything. And we watched it grow up and had a business there. And then, but we had businesses in Wadesboro as well. And it reminds me so much. It's kind of come full circle for me in talking to y'all today, because this is put on by the library. And I remember that years ago, the library put on a show by Thornton Wilder called Our Town. And y'all may know that story and that play. And the play was shown in Wadesboro. And it parroted so much, I believe, of my memories. And I believe Marty will agree that Our Town, if you're familiar with that play or that story, about the wholesome world that they portray in that story. And it to me, it personifies growing up in Wadesboro and coming through to a simpler time. And we use that word or that phrase probably more loosely than we should, because I'm sure it wasn't simple to those that were living it. But in the reflection of it, it does seem to be a more wholesome time where family was the key to everything. And now with everything being electronically driven, I believe we're moving a little bit away from this family personal experience that a lot of us enjoyed and grew up in Wadesboro. And so this book reaches back in time to really share with you a little bit of the history of Wadesboro and living in Wadesboro, and the living story of Wadesboro and Anson County, and through our personal experiences and as our families grew up there and the interactions, and then at the same time looking at Ocean Isle Beach. And a lot of you may know Ocean Isle Beach, and again, we were the first family outside of the owner of the island family to live on Ocean Isle Beach. So we would divide our time between the activities of Wadesboro and the activities of Ocean Isle Beach, and I think that you'll find in the book a lot of funny stories that will stick with you. Everything from recipes and just different life experiences we thought were important to note in the book. There's the early pictures of Wadesboro there that we researched with Tommy Allen. That was so nice to work with us on some of this. So it's a culmination of kind of the history of the South through personal eyes over the last 100 years. And I'm reminded of Pearl S. Buck saying that if you really want to understand today, you have to search yesterday. And it offers clarity to where we are to understand your past. And it's the first book I've ever been involved in writing. And I'm also reminded by a quote of Norman Mailer, kind of tongue in cheek, that says that writing a book is the closest thing a man will ever come to childbearing. And I can understand why he would say that. We've gone through so many rewrites and checking out facts that we thought were facts, and we had to research them to bear out that they were facts, or they didn't make the book. So that's a little bit about what you'll find in this book. And Wadesboro has been a great friend. They've bought a lot of books, and they're buying a lot more. And so we're constantly going back and forth from Wadesboro, bringing in boxes of books. I believe those that have read the book has been able to see some of the stories, and it's not all fun and games, and it comes through some hard times that Wadesboro in the South had through the 60s, and all of the kaleidoscope turned from the old chivalrous South and coming into more of a modern age, and the growing pains that America went through, and how it materialized in Wadesboro, and just the experiences there of that time. And I think it's important for people that, especially our younger people that didn't get the opportunity to live through those eras as we did, to better understand what Wadesboro. I think it'll help you understand Wadesboro a little bit more. But we just love Wadesboro. It is our home. It is our life. It is what is the focus of the bedrock of where we come from and who we are. We're so privileged to have grown up in Anson County, and we talk to so many people down here at the beach, because we rented hundreds of beach houses and thousands of beach vacations, and you get to meet a lot of people. And it just, as you get to know people, you draw back to your own experiences and see what a quality life it is to have grown up in Wadesboro and Anson County. It's just an amazing experience, and we try to share that with you in this book. And that was really the precipitous of the book, was to try to memorialize some of these the experiences, to help you understand what a great place you live. And that was our goal.
I wanted to tell you one thing that I remembered as you saying it, that the Catholic Church had 6 people, or maybe 4 people in it at the time when we first started, and we just didn't know anything about the Catholic Church. It's just there. And they built that, the Horn sisters were the members, the only 2 there. And they built this church down there, and they put some nuns down there. Well, what for? Because we haven't got anybody. And along came the people there that were the soldiers, all those hundreds and hundreds of soldiers, and they were Catholic. And they came, and it was almost like a miracle that they had built the church so that these men could go to church. And during that time, we had the people playing the organ in our church. They sang in our churches and everything. Some of those things aren't in there, but your families, if you ask your families, they will remember some of that. But I was just thinking that he was talking about the wonderful building of that church, from 4 people to I don't know how many now, but for everybody. And then the other churches that we have. And I think that I really do think that Charlotte is going to move toward Wadesboro. We just have to be calm and quiet, that they're coming there and they're going to live in this beautiful town, and they're going to be able to come, bypass Monroe and all that business. I was wanting them to put a train going straight across, but nobody listened to me about that. But so you can get on the train and ride to Charlotte and go to work and come back. But anyway, I'm hopeful for you all, and I love all of that. And we appreciate you very much letting us do this today. And I hope you'll enjoy the book. When you start off, somebody started and said, I don't like it. They're just talking about so-and-so. I said, well, keep on. They're talking about a lot of people. So anyway.
That's right.
Give
Yes, we thank you guys for writing it. It's a beautiful book and so nicely done. And I've always loved Ocean Island. I like the history of it. And like Stuart was talking about at the beginning, it was so private, almost like, and now it's flourished, And Lomie, the Catholic Church has flourished here too. They have quite a few coming on Sunday morning. So yeah, these are wonderful things that have developed, But thank you all so much for doing that. And the book can be purchased at the Historical Society.
Mhm.
People are buying it, and it's wonderful for Christmas gifts too.
Well,
So-
I want to say one other thing that really, we didn't do it for money because it would take, I hate to tell you, it'd take forever to pay for what was. It just, it's just not that. We don't get paid for these books. We're paying the people that did it, that kind of things. So we're not doing it for money or for anything. We're doing it for ourselves because that's what we wanted to do. But we love the fact that Wadesboro is in it, and Ocean Isle, and all the people. So we thank you so much for having us today and letting us tell you. So I'll be seeing you sometime when I'm marching up with a load of books to.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. And we are so grateful to have a copy in our genealogy room, for future posterity. So thank you. Thank you again. Marty, did you have something to add today?
No, but I would like to say this, what Stuart said about our town. I think it's kind of like our town and Mayberry. It's such a quaint thing. One of my memories is carrying the newspapers on the street, the Anson Record, and on Wednesday afternoons, the stores would close, and I remember the awnings would be rolled out, and it was just a really special place to be and to live. And we always like to go back through Wadesboro just to relive the memories. So thank you. It's a great place.
Well, we wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Marty. He set us up. He did it for us. We have no idea how to do it. So I didn't even, last night, the lights went off here, and now I don't know what time it is. All the clocks are off and everything, but we got our Marty. He can do it. He appeared.
Thank you, Marty.
And I'm glad to see you all. And I'm glad about the hotels because I loved all those down at the end of the street in West Wade. And then I knew the ones across the street from where Lucy Little lived and all that. So anyway.
Well, and I haven't read the entire book yet, but I thoroughly enjoyed reading what I have read so far. And growing up, I lived on East Wade up until I was in the first grade. And then I moved to West Wade, and the part about Miss
Reinstein.
Oh, I loved that section because it brought me back to West Wade Street. And it's interesting how similar a lot of, just that house, that garden. When you talked about the garden, I used to take my friends over. At the time, it was Mrs. Line. She was living there, and I would knock on her door and I'd say, "Can I show so-and-so your garden?" And she'd say, "Oh, sure, go on back there." And then it was a magical place to grow up. And I grew up next door I grew up in the Fred Allen house. And
Yeah.
the McKinnons and the connection. There were so many, and I'm assuming the reason that Anson County or Wadesboro has such a connection to Ocean Isle is because of all of you. But I heard so many stories about Connie going down there in this, every summer. She basically lived, it seemed like, in Ocean Isle. And I heard about the boys going over the dunes, and and just, it was like going, just hearing those same stories over again.
Well, one time,
Well, we do cite a lot of locations in Wadesboro and stories, but one very target rich conversation was West Wade Street. Even though East Wade Street does have its stories in the book as well, but West Wade Street, more specifically referring to when George Patton came down for
Oh, I thought that was hilarious.
a drive, with his tanks, and then getting stuck at the end of West Wade. And I remember Marty and I, when we would ride our bicycles on West Wade, you'd have to ride over where those tanks had eaten into the asphalt on West Wade Street and create a washboarding effect. And so, it really wasn't that long ago that World War II happened, and back when the war between the states was, it's part of our culture. Some of those experiences are trapped in in our culture, and reflecting on what happened through the years in Anson County, you can better understand how it's had to kind of morph to where it is now. And so I think if we achieved part of that, then we achieved some of our goal in writing this book.
and some of the people that start off and they say something about, I didn't want to read that, something like that. But it's got everything. It even has Stuart's ways that you can cook whatever in that. It's got everything you can do in that book. So we think it'll be a good one for it to stay in people's homes to remember this later on, years from now, to do that.
And I think it's so important to write down those memories. I wondered if you had any advice for other people who might have similar interest in making books about their memories of the past.
Write a journal.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, Marty, you're exactly right, is that you don't have to be a writer of books per se to do a job like this. You write what's interesting to you, and write what your experiences are, and that were interesting to you, and they're a patchwork quilt of information. There are people that are in the business of assimilating this and putting it into a book fashion, and then this is an example of. But the stories that you think are important to tell other people about, just make, I write them on index cards, or write them on the back of receipts. I've got a whole bag full of stories, and all of those, a lot of them made it into the book, because when the editor read them, that's kind of the filter that will say, oh, this is great, this will go good here. So you don't have to have a comprehensive knowledge. You'll never be able to eat this dinosaur except one bite at a time. So you got to, but it starts with memorializing what's in your memory on paper, and without any type of structure to it at all. Just keep those stories independent of each other, and the book will evolve if that's your goal.
Well, we just appreciate it so much, because we never would have gotten to do all this if it weren't for you all. And
Absolutely.
we thank you so much. And we won't keep you any longer. I know that I don't know how long we've been talking. Marty's running for, what are you running for, Marty?
The next county.
And he's got to go somewhere. And
I'm running for re-election for the county commission.
Oh, great. That's
I've been
great.
serving for 14 years, so I'm running again.
Wonderful.
And so we're doing, but anyway, you all come to see me now when you do, and I'll give you a loaf of bread. It's really good.
I might take you up
I've
on
had
that.
some of your bread, Lomie, and it was wonderful. So when we stayed at Ocean Isle.
Oh, good. Well, y'all come back, and thank you for having us. Thank you. And I'm
Yes,
sure.
thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for
Right.
being